And hello to everyone today on this nice Wednesday morning. Well, for me, it's the afternoon. I don't know what it is for you, but so for those who are still in the middle of Wednesday, good morning, good afternoon, and good night. I hope everyone is having a great one for Wednesday. We are here to do a Star Trek Adventures Operation book review for Tabletop Junkies Reviews. Yay! Who doesn't like Star Trek? Come on. I did 2 Star Trek episodes yesterday, and we're about to do more today. And today we are covering the Book of Operations. Operations in the 24th century and beyond is actually the gold shirt. And then if you're in the 32nd or the 32nd, I'm sorry, I almost stumbled there. 22nd or 23rd, it is the red shirts or the operations and security. So yes, this book is, the introduction is entitled to Breaking the Laws of Physics because this deals with engineering and security, stuff and protocols. For those engineers deal with the engines of the ship and security, well, deals with pretty much protecting the captain and everyone else who basically carries around a bunch of phasers. There you go. Other people can carry around phasers too, but security is designed for, oh, we have an intruder alert. So in this book here is pretty much the same as the command division, only we get a little extra stuff for operations, and we don't get new starships in this one. That is the actual difference. In the last one, we had some things about some additional races and or species, excuse me, some additional species, and we had some additional starships to add with space frames. Today, this one is going to be a little bit different. This talks about how operations does work altogether. In this book, it does give you a little bit brief overview of the operations history. And it even talks about a little bit of the history back in the 21st century, back when Cochrane first invented warp drive. And it does give you some little nice inserts from many different of the series depicted from the one from 2371, and even depicts some TOS, the original series with Captain James T. Kirk, in the book as well. And that's in the very introduction. It does got some really good content art we won't get into at the moment because I'm trying to get through this book. So it talks about the operations division, which is separated into 2 things. The very first thing that it's separated into is engineering and security. I've said that probably about 3 or 4 different times, but I will say it again. That is actually what it's actually broken down into. Now, as I stated, you do get a little bit of brief history in the introduction, and then you do get a complete overview in the second chapter of what operations entails, between many different things such as shipyards, star bases operations, tactical operations in play. It tells you about fleet operations, missions, how operations influence the game, how the gold shirts influence the game, both in and out of the starship. They are also part of Starfleet intelligence. You do get a bit of history about how Starfleet intelligence works. That for those are like covert agents that gather intelligence and stuff like that. And this does actually give you the overview of Section 31. The Black Ops operation is mostly depicted of those who are actually from the operations division, not the command or the science division, more or less operations, because they are more in the field and built for security than command is. Granted, a command officer may have came from security or something like that to that. Oh, and before I continue, I got to say, hail to my friend Pops. Pops, it's nice to see you today. Yes, we're talking about more Star Trek. Um, Going over Star Trek, the Operations Division book for Star Trek Adventures, and talking a little bit about, the division operations from the actual show itself. Um, I- so, so yeah, they do handle the Operations Division, do handle the Section 31 as well as Starfleet Intelligence. 2 separate divisions. One is completely Black Ops. And then they do cover that Starfleet has a core of engineers. What that means is they actually have a group of engineers that are also like its own separate thing. They are the most highly intelligent engineers in the fleet, and they generally get off of starships because it's not that we don't want highly intelligent people on starships, but if you're going out into space and you're in the middle of, like, I don't know, going to the neutral territory, it's best to put your ace in the, and you need to find, oh, the Romulans got a new device. You put all your aces in the back of the sideline so they can communicate to the other engineers, where, the other engineers that are, I guess not as good. It's a bit of a competition with these things. They get the best of the best, lay them back. They don't get to go into space, unfortunately, because they are the best of the best. They are valuable assets. And that's how operations division actually thinks. Everyone is an asset, and depending on how good you are, determines your value, how valuable you are. And of course, when you kind of think of Star Trek, you don't really think of that, but it has been known through DS9, Deep Space Nine of Star Trek, that Starfleet has a lot of skeletons in their closet, so not much to really say about that. um yeah, in DS9 we learned about Section 31, which nobody ever hears about because only select people on the hierarchy of Starfleet is aware of Section 31. Which, my question is, I wonder when Section 31 became a thing, because truth be told, if Section 31 was a thing, why didn't they not help Picard and Riker take back Starfleet when Starfleet was being infested with mind taking over aliens at the end of the Next Generation series? There was nothing about Section 31 there. A little bit of a plot hole. I don't think they invented Section 31. The writers didn't at that time. I don't bash them for that. It's just kind of a thing. Since we all want to talk about plot holes and everything, because we want to say, oh, Section 31 was also in the Captain Kirk's era. I can't imagine Kirk ever really accepting that as an answer either. Because Kirk is just, no, he doesn't work well with others except his crew. So that's pretty much the first couple chapters there. We're going to be moving on to the next thing, talking about the two different schools of operation, which I've said it 100 times and I'll say it 100 times again: security school and engineering school. So basically what this brings in, this talks about a few periods of conflicts for security that security has had to face off with, and it even has stuff on an enlisted security training thing. What this does, this gives your character a bit of an addition on top of the core book, gives you a bit of an addition of what kind of talents and what extra stuff you can gain, such as disciplines and whatnot. This helps you mechanically create your character around being a Starfleet security officer. And even gives you a couple tactical roles you could play. But most of this stuff, I would say, is got to be between the player who wants to be more of the security type and the GM. I'm going to warn you against that right now. And like the previous book, also gives you some additional disciplines on top of, or not disciplines, excuse me, gives you additional talents on top of what the core book gives you for security. These, and once again, like I told you in the last book of Command, these security talents are built around the security officer. So the requirement to attain some of these talents, you have to at least have a minimum security level, maybe something additional. Like we have Combat Medic, which has a security of 2+. So minimum, you have to have security of 2. But to have Combat Medic, you must have medicine of 2+ to have that talent. So, but most of the base talents are security only. Like I said, I recommend this book actually picking up because it adds more flavor to the security officers. And just adds you about some more additional add you more okay. I'm skipping around here. Losing my place. Okay, so that was basically security. Engineering is pretty much the same thing. Gives you a little bit of brief for what a role of an engineer is on a starship. Tells you about some of the other eras that engineers played vital roles in it, as well as security officers, and also creating engineering characters. Once again, adds just to everything else that the core book adds to for security, including life path stuff. So that way, if your character wants to be not security, excuse me, engineer, This book is not as in depth as the command book. I will tell you that much because I feel like I spent more time on the command book than I have on this book already. And as far as I'm concerned, let me move. Let me see where we're at with this. We're about halfway through this already. So amazingly, um, yeah, we already are halfway through this, and we're only 10 minutes in. Um, so engineer. The next section for operations. Excuse me for a minute. Got to wet the whistle. So the engineering school gives you additional um engineering character stuff to add to your life path, disciplines, focuses, and that stuff on top of the core book. So it just gives you additional stuff there, nothing to change, just additional. Tells you about you know what? There's a table here that talk like a technician, the use of technobabble. Hmm. You can make up your own technobabble. I didn't even know that, and I read this book from cover to cover. How did I miss that? And then it talks about the other disciplines and how they focus on how they play into factors with engineers, as well as the other disciplines do play into the security as well. I did forget to cover that, but we all know that they're here because this is pretty much drawn out almost exactly the same as the command division book. And then once again, you got engineering talents that focus around being an engineer. Some talents, all you have to have is an engineering level. The others, you may have to have work in conjunction with other disciplines. And once again, this art is very, you know what? I've got to share this one. I've got to share this one. Um, this art is just, it's awesome. And that's a bunch of 23rd century engineers right there. I wish I got to show off a little bit more of that, but like I said, I'm trying to, due to copyright, I'm not trying to show off too much. I don't want people referring to my channel as a encyclopedia to learn how to play the game. I do recommend that you guys please go to Modiphius. I will be checking my other channels too, my other videos too, to make sure I am putting the Modiphius link in there as well, because I think I might have forgotten that, but I will be posting a link to the US and the .NET version. I use the .NET version, which is the overseas version of Modiphius, because I already have points racked up and I've not been able to transfer them. Maybe I need to call customer service on that one, because the US version is, because I've pretty much bought all the PDFs from Modiphius. The only thing I have left to buy are the physical books. The PDFs were the ones I bought first. Actually, I think I even bought some off of the other sites such as drivethrurpg.com, as well as I think I also bought some from Humble Bundle. So I don't know if they have any sales going on anymore, but I did buy this off of a sale as well. I just love Star Trek, so Star Trek is the best. But yeah, I just wanted to show off this really cool art of these three engineers working together to do, well, that picture shows a lot. It's probably working on some famous warp core. Like I said, Modiphius outdid themselves with both information and artwork. They did do a lot with art. I mean, this just looks really spectacular. All right, so moving on to, let's get ready to move on to the. All right, so instead of starships, we get engineering devices, experimental engineering stuff about how to draw up your own experimental stuff, I believe, as well as starship systems. We're going to start off with engineering devices. Know the right tools. You have micro optic drills, phaser drills, cutting tools, plasma torches, lasers. Some of this stuff comes as standard issue, which means it doesn't cost you anything. Some cost an opportunity, which I will probably have to go into what an opportunity cost is. Usually an escalation or an opportunity cost means you have to be in an escalated situation, 1 or 2, for you to have it. An opportunity means you have to do something for it. I can't quite remember. You know what? That is something I should cover in a totally separate video, because all of these books have stuff like that in it. So start covering some of the mechanics with it. So they do go through, what a hyperspanner is, which is standard issue for engineers only. However, otherwise for everybody else, they have to pay an opportunity of 1. So there is some restrictions on engineering tools because, well, Maybe they're limited on tools, and they're also in space, and they need them. The engineers need them before anyone else does. Because let's face it, you're not going to put a doctor near a warp core and say, "Fix the warp core, doctor," because then you'll get like the Bones response. "Damn it, Jim! I'm a doctor, not an engineer." "He's dead, Jim." "Okay, Jim, I'm dead." And then they start talking about some of the Starship technology, such as containment fields, emergency force fields. It gets all that technobabble out there, replicators, transporters. And honestly, we're not going to go into this, but this is what I love. Okay, I'm going to give you an excerpt from a replicator derived from transporter technology. Uh, Derived from transporter technology, replicators are the basis for the Federation's economy. Replicators dematerialize matter and rematerialize in it in variety of organized forms, including it as food and drink, clothing, spare parts, and materials made of almost all substances except a few items that cannot be replicated, like latinum. Latinum cannot be replicated. Okay. Some humans claim that they can taste the difference between natural and replicated food and drink. More importantly, like transporters, replicators use large amounts of energy. Starships that are running short of energy may need to ration replicator use to avoid power shortages. I'm going to tell you guys that right now. I just read you a paragraph about replicators. They give you, oh dear God, one, two, three, four, about 5 or 6 paragraphs about replicators are. To me, I've read this. This is very well in depth. They even talk about some excerpts from some of the series and how they work, and it's just magnificent. And then my personal favorite, which we will be covering in a separate video, warp drive. Warp drive is freaking awesome, everyone. We're not going to go into it because unfortunately that is way more than replicators, and that's actually 2 pages long. So Modiphius, I applaud you for the advanced information you give us here regarding regarding Star Trek Adventures. I feel like this gives us the real Star Trek experience, not the slim down of, if all else fails, just pull out a phaser and shoot someone. You have a lot of ways you could work. All right, and then you got the experimental engineering, which covers the, artificial intelligence, which has not been achieved, phasing cloak, some things that have been covered in the show, soliton wave generator, just some really good stuff. We're not going to go into all that. And then using the operations division book. Now, what this does, this provides you the red, gold, and blue plots for how engineering works. I thought it was going to change a few things, but I don't think it does. I think it keeps everything the same. But remember, you're also a gold shirt. So red plots are for diplomacy. Gold plots are for combat, physical activities, espionage-oriented themes, and then blue plots are, for science, medicine, engineering, technology, and stuff like that. So the way I like to look at it, the plots are fitted for the shirts, so of the 24th century. So a red plot would be something better for a command officer. Gold plots are better for security and some engineering, and then blue plots are for everything else that doesn't fit in that plot. So we get those all over, but outfitted for engineering and security type officers. And I actually like these plots because they do get to they do help you make a plot if you are facing off with, let's say what's a good thing to say, if you're facing off with writer's block. These are very good to help you do that. I'm actually, for the future, I'm going to be generating all these plots right out under each division, and I'm going to be rolling for each division. And because we are going to be in the future doing a Star Trek Adventures actual play, and it's going to be 12 storyline. It's going to be like 12 oh geez, what is it? 12 sessions long, so 12 videos long. Sorry, I could not get that out there. I'm having a hard time speaking today. Maybe it's because I got a lot of sleep. Last 2 days, um, I've been actually sleeping, getting a little bit better sleep finally. So I'm actually doing a lot better. And then, like I said, this does plots for not just for operations, so both engineering and security. So that does cover that. What else do we have here? Any more good stuff to look at to talk about? We've already covered stuff on Starfleet intelligence, the Corps of Engineers, and I believe Starfleet person. And oh, this actually gives you Starfleet intelligence personnel. This gives you operation personnel for both Starfleet intelligence, um, the Corps of Engineers, and just regular personnel and supporting characters. Just stuff for the GM to look at and say, okay, I want to add these guys into there, or you if you don't want to add them specifically, you can use the stat blocks to come up with something really quickly and on the fly. So very well informative. I have to say that. And let's see, is there anything else I can bring in? It does give you the rules of play, on top of the extra people it does give you, and tell you how to use them. A Mako soldier. Mako soldiers are from the 22nd century. I love them. Um, they are basically militarized, but that was during the attack of the Zindi during the Star Trek Enterprise. Um, so it does give you some rules of play, things that you'll need about how the battlefield works under red alert stuff, and some basic principles. Tells you how to use miniatures if you ever want to use them, if you want to use models. Gives you quick rundown of pretty much everything. Let's see what else it gives here, because we are actually nearing the end here. This just gives you additional combat experience. It goes a little bit more in depth about how creating an opportunity works, a reroll of damage, or keep the initiative. Tells you how much momentum you have to spend, of which course, once again, that is up to the GM. So tells you how aim works, gives you all the action. So this is just an extension. Ooh, hang on a second. Maybe we can figure out. No, it just literally it's all about combat, and even has a resolving an attack chart to teach you how to do it really, really easy. Looks like I may have to reread this again, just because. And then it even gives you set up for mass battle squads regarding operations and deployment and stuff. So yeah. Even gives you okay, well, gives you some extra tokens. Gives you a lot. One of the things I did want to see is if it covered cost, because we do have some things here like damage effects. Like when you roll, so this was also covered in the core book, but I think it was covered better here in the operations guide. So we'll take a minute and just cover this. So in this book, it does have like effects like area, knockdown, piercing, and vicious, which is what we talked about. So the vicious X is what we call it, because each weapon will have a rate. X will be replaced with a variable number, such as 1 or 2. So the attack inflicts X additional damage for each affected roll. That's what vicious means. Piercing is the attack ignores X points of resistance for the affected roll. So yeah, and then you have area, which is obviously an area of effect, and then knockdown. Your opponent is knocked down and is prone for a model is knocked prone for each effect rolled. So if you rolled 2 effects, if you get to roll 7 dice and you roll 2 effects on that, they are down for 2 rounds. Holy crap. Huh. You learn things new every day, right? I feel like I've ran this before, but I mean, we didn't always run like with battles and stuff either. We did some scientific discoveries in my past game of the USS Hailstrom, which I will be probably getting ready to do videos about my campaign, so that way you guys can understand timeline and everything. And I think I've already figured out what I'm going to do for that. But yep, this is all complete in-depth schematics on battling, and then just stuff on mission briefings and more stuff on battling. Man, they devoted a lot to this. All right, that's enough. Anyway, I'm going to stop myself right there, because like I said, I could go on forever. I mean, I've got another few more pages left to go through. And oh wow, they even give you tokens? I didn't know that. Huh, maybe if I read the Yeah, I read the book. Maybe I just skipped over that page. It's only one page I get some tokens on. Well, that is pretty much the operations guide. So as you can tell, it's pretty much similar to the command division guide, only but instead of like doing like leadership type stuff and leading by example, you're breaking the laws of physics. I love the slogans that they give. So this book, I will have to tell you, is a must buy. If you're into Star Trek and you get into Star Trek Adventures, the core book, please look into purchasing the both the command division guide and the operations guide, so that way you can add more flavor to, more flesh to your characters, because the book does cover stuff for everything, the core book does, but the command gives more focus on characters in command and con, as well as the operations guide gives more focus on characters that want to be more into engineering and security. So my next review will be on the science division book. Woo! Blue shirts. We're going to be talking about blue shirts. As well as I'm going to be producing more videos throughout the week. This is my only video I think I am doing for today. I would like to thank everybody for tuning in. I would like to thank Pops for tuning in. Real quick before we do skedaddle off here, I do have a couple promotions I'd like to give out there. I'm, you know what? If he gets me for it, I will apologize, but I would like to promote Pops, since he did come out and support me today. I did appreciate that, Pops. If you're still listening, if you're not, and you do see more of this video, I hope you do listen in the future. But this is a channel for Pops. He is known as the grandfather of our community. And many of us do love him. He does come out and support. He may not be in everything that we're into, but he still supports us. And that's what fathers do when they support the children, is they support the children no matter what. So even though he's not into what I'm into 110%, he's not as diverse. And it's not just me, it's other people as well. He still supports us as a community. And for there, we love him. Please go to his channel, will be in my description as well. Here's the link for it right now. But please go to his channel, watch his videos, leave a like, and please subscribe to him. Another person I have to always promote is one of my co-hosts, as always, because he is also a big supporter. Is the Witch King. He is supposed to be doing other reviews later on. I'm not gonna put words in his mouth. He did mention doing a Star Trek review at some point, because it is Star Trek-esque. I wouldn't call it really Star Trek, but maybe it was a off-brand of Star Trek. But still go check him out. If you do like what you see, please like his videos, leave comments, and please subscribe to him. He is, I believe, still one away from the big 30 or 40. He's trying to get more subscribers that go to subscribe to him, the more content he will produce. At least I hope he will. I kind of sold that one out there a little bit much without talking to him. But other than that, yes. And then, of course, my man Sparta Chris over at 540 Echo, him and I are supposed to be working on some projects coming up for this summer. Not sure what they are yet. He's still working that out. And of course, I have to give the best of the best real quick before I move on to the best of the best. Sparta Chris, his link is right here. It will also be in my description. And now time for the best of the best. Jace Fox, everybody over at 540 Studios, that made me part of the 540 family, as well as he supports my own separate videos. We are partners. I appreciate that. I appreciate everything he's done for me. He does all my logos and my stuff to help my channel get promoted, as well as I go over on his channel. I'm his third seat host over there. And, very recently we just had a Star Trek discussion. So I recommend people, there's his link. I do recommend people, please go to his channel, review his videos. If you like what you see, please like and subscribe. And of course, for me, Tabletop Junkie, if you guys are new to the channel and you do see this video, you like what you see, please subscribe. I am at 42 subscribers. I am trying to reach the big 50. If I reach the big 50, I will have a promotional celebration stream, as well as probably, I don't know, something else. I'll do something for you guys. I'm not sure what. Maybe I'll just give a celebration video and we'll just talk about some stuff that's not tabletop reviews, or just something that's a bit out of the ordinary. I don't know, something that wouldn't be ordinary for Tabletop Junkie. All right, well, on that, that is my review for the Operations Division Recommend Buy for Star Trek Adventures. I will get the Modiphius links in my descriptions. Other than that, work hard, play hard, my friends. Game hard, game on. Tabletop Junkie fame salute. You guys have a great and wonderful day.